I love thumbs. How did it go? How's it going so far?
Great.
Harder than you thought?
Yeah, the speed of the first move.
Yep. So remember, I'm not going to go through the 6 principles because I'm going to remind a few of them as we go through, but remember, we are tracking the ball out of the setter's hand. We are not tracking the hitter, we are tracking the ball out of the setter hand. The further the setter is away, the longer time we have to track that set. The closer the setter is, the less time we have to track that ball, but we still need to track it. Okay? A lot of other things for you guys. Remember, the closer the ball is to the middle of the net, the closer we are, further it is off net, less options I have. That way you can be further off net. And we don't need to be body blocking in here if it's an off net set. We can give ourselves time equals quality to get that touch. Okay, so we've just gone through reading the set, which is a fundamental skill in defense, no matter what defensive scheme or defensive system you play. What we're going to now talk about is individual roles and responsibilities inside the open defense strategy that we've just been practicing. So, you can come straight forward for me, thank you. You can stay there. Mark, you can go opposite me. Anton, you can come here for me. So, Anton, you're going to be the setter. Pavella, you can just come forward, just outside the no-hit zone. Okay? If we are here, me and Mark, are we in good positions? Yeah, I like our positions. We're in open strategy. We decided we're playing the open strategy, right? I'm on his left hand, Mark's on his right hand. Now we're going to talk about individual roles and responsibilities. This is very important. So, our individual roles and responsibilities, our primary jobs for both of us is the open shot. That's why it's called the open defensive strategy, because that's our primary job. Now, let's say you get set right here on your right hand. So just have the ball just off net. Let's say, yeah, a little bit closer to me. Lovely, right? So if it's an open defense strategy, but it's served towards his right hand, right now I am useless. Because my primary job was his left hand open. But he's not going to hit it to his left hand now, he's going to hit it that way. So now, my job comes to my secondary job. My secondary job is the right-handed pull. Sorry, the right-handed push. I'm coming around here, okay? And I'm taking off his push. Mark's primary job is still the open, but his secondary job is the pull. So now, if you were to hit that ball, right, we want it either to go between us, so one of us can get the touch, because we do not want it going to the left of me. If it goes to the left of me, we are a one-man defense, right? If it goes to the right of Mark, we are also a one-man defense, because I cannot help him. However, if it goes between us, we have both offer an opportunity now to get a touch. So it's so important as a principle now of this defensive strategy, we always want the ball to go between us. If it does not go between us, we are broken. If we are broken as a defense, our statistics plummet. And now there's a very unlikely chance we're going to get a defensive touch. So if we go back to our positions, primary job, open. Primary job, open. Now my job, if the ball doesn't get set on my side, so it doesn't get set to your left hand, it gets set to your right hand, my secondary job is the push. And then Mark's secondary job is the pull. And now we are squeezing it between us and one of us will get this touch. Now we just flip it the other way around. This is why this defensive strategy is so much easier than track a loop or the push and pull strategy that we've gone through before. Is because now, let's say that ball is set on the left-hand side of the net. What's happening now? My job, primary, the lefty open, but secondary, the lefty pull, so I need to make sure it doesn't go left side of me. Mark's secondary job now, because he's not going to hit it on a righty open, so he's now coming round to the push, and we are squeezing the ball between us. Again, it cannot go left side of me, it cannot go right side of Mark. Otherwise, we are broken. It must go between us. Okay? Now, we're going to go 2 more. Let's say for some reason that ball is set long. Let's say far over rim. Yep. Let's say it's set there. We're going to 2 more squares. Let's say the ball's here. Now, again, mine and Mark's primary job is the open. But now again, we know that this ball, that's statistically proven, is probably going to go this way. Because this again is where you have the most squares. Wherever you have the most squares on the net is wherever the most likely hit is. If the ball's here, it's going to go there. If the ball is here, it's going to go there. If the ball's dead centre, again, now we have loads of squares, now it could go anywhere. But back to my point, the ball is here. If the ball is here, our primary job, open, open. But we know it's going to go back towards that way because that's where the ball is being set. So now we're squeezing here. Again, primary job open, secondary job now pull because it's dependent on the set. So now we're again squeezing the ball between us. It cannot go to the right of me. It cannot go to the left of Mark. It must go between us. Now for the last one. If the set is now long. Again, we know that ball is going in this direction because that's where he has the most squares. So again, primary job open, primary job open, but now we are squeezing that push together because we know the ball has to go in this direction. But again, it cannot get beat on my left side. It cannot now get beat on Mark's right side. Otherwise we're broken. It must always go between us. Okay? So I know now, adding this in is a lot to think about because again, there's a lot of things to decide of where we are going. There's a lot of factors involved. All I want you to remember as a principle is, ball is being set, it's set on the right hand, getting round for our secondary job of the push. Set on the left hand, he's getting round for the push. If it's set short, we're now squeezing the pull and forcing it between us. If it's now set long, we're now squeezing the push, we must go between us. Right? So we could play the exact same game that I just did with some of you guys over here, and let's say, Anton, take my place for me, and let's say now I've got the ball, right? Mark, Anton, I want you guys just to react to where I'm putting the ball now, right? This is the setter, you are the hitter, right? So he's the hitter, everybody. I'm just going to set the ball where I want the ball to be placed. You're not going to hit it, but he is the hitter, okay? So ready?
I was going to go
comes round.
From
Yep. Heels on the 7 foot line, Anton. Thank you. You see, Mark's taking the absolute maximum pull away, forcing it between them. Anton's taking the maximum push away, forcing it between them. Back to the other side. Anton's now going around. He's taking away the maximum pull. Mark's taking away the maximum push that someone can hit, and they're forcing the ball between them. Always, always reading the set. And now you understand why reading the set is so important and why we are always trying to off-balance the offense so that we can get given more time to read this set. Because again, the more time we can read this set, the more time we have to get into the correct defensive positions. But we need to know what the defensive correct positions are, right? Now we know. So now we're going to go away. We're going to do the same thing. All we're going to do now is we're going to catch it on the net. I'm just going to practice a couple more times, and then we're going to go into you can hit the ball. Okay? So we're going to do the exact same thing. After a couple of reps, everyone should have a couple of reps each, doing the exact same things, focusing on the ball must always be go between you, and focusing on these little rotations. We are then going to go, be there, boom, setter, and he hits it. And then we are then live, and we're going to play some points. If it happens you get out of touch, convert it and just play the rally through. And then we reset again and we go again. Any questions? I love questions, just so you know. Those on Saturday knows I love questions, so I love talking about ground. So if you do have questions, feel free. If there's not any questions, we'll go back and
Are we practicing any like short and longs, like who takes a short and who takes a long?
That's great you put it up. So if I come back in here, if the ball is here, right, Mark, Anthony, come over. So now, because Mark's primary job is the open, Mark is now long, Anton is short. So Anton is now taking away the push shot, just suits us, the maximum push, and within that he's now taking short too. So if there's a drop, that's his job. It's always the secondary defender, right? Because Anton, go back for me. If it gets set to the right hand here, Mark's the primary defender. If it's set this side, get around, Anton is the primary defender. Okay? So now if it's set here, and Mark's the primary defender, the secondary defender has short. Okay? If it's set here, Anton, you've got the open and pull, Mark comes round, and Mark has the short because he is a secondary defender. Again, in these situations, it's most likely that the primary defender, because his job is lefty open, he usually always gets the touch. He is here for the push, the secondary shots, the drops. Does that make sense? Okay, that's why the secondary will always be that little bit closer, because we want the primary defender to be in that perfect position? Good question.
As that secondary defender, I'm also like, most likely it's going to Antoine, so I'm probably even just going to try and persuade this hitter to go on hit them. You've probably heard this term, funneling it to Antoine. Or for some reason they decide to go the hard shot, and I've got that shape to Antoine, it hits, deflects, and goes to his area.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Great point. Great question. So now we're going to go back, same groups, practice catching the first few, and then start going into hitting. Alright, here we go.
You're not in the cycle zone. I was primary on the right, is what I thought.
No, so that. Right?
So again,
Yeah, I'm hit.
Oh, cheeky!
Alright.